All right, we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we got a lot to talk about in our live stream. If anybody woke up and was checking the crypto markets this morning, they likely saw a significant increase in the crypto prices over the past, 2-3 hours or so. All right, especially since yesterday. And there's no accident, okay? There's a big economic report that just came out this morning that looks good for the crypto space, okay? And lots of other assets as well. We're going to talk about that in this video. We're going to look at a lot of other news updates that have happened in the live stream since yesterday. Again, we do these streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just subscribe, turn on notifications. You're going to find out about those whenever we go live. We're going to, check out the crypto markets, answer some of your questions, and a whole lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step start to finish, then definitely head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Cody, David Stone, Dale, Stan. We give this just a minute for YouTube to start populating the video in the news feed. Sometimes these take a little bit longer to show up. So we got more people jumping in here. Sanka Dip, hope I'm saying that right. Benone Torin, welcome. All right, so let's jump into this. Let's look at this new economic report that just came out that looks good for crypto. Okay, so I'll just pull this up on my screen here. So the Dow Jones Industrial jumps 500 points. NASDAQ surges 2% as investors cheer lighter than expected inflation report. So what is that? So we just got a report that came out this morning about this measuring inflation inside the United States. Okay. And why is this important? How does it relate to crypto? Well, we'll get to that in a second. But basically, again, when I make these videos talking about what's going on with the economy as it pertains to crypto, I want everybody to understand, like, I don't pretend to be a macroeconomics expert by any stretch of the imagination, but it doesn't take a genius to see that inflation has been a problem. Lots of people are feeling it. It's one of the most talked about political issues right now. So it's top of mind for many people. Of course, it's hitting them at the gas pump. It's hitting them when they go buy groceries, all right, all this different stuff. Like it's pretty easy for most people to see, but it's a powerful economic force that's been affecting lots of the price of other assets as well. Not just, things that we buy on a daily basis, consumer goods, but also, it actually affects asset prices like stocks and crypto for a different reason, which we'll talk about in a minute. But basically, we've been watching inflation all year as one of the biggest economic issues that is facing everybody. And, the central bank of the United States has been essentially making quite a few policy adjustments to combat inflation. And so, inflation's been the big boogeyman for many markets, okay? And, we get these inflation readings on a monthly basis. And today's reading came in lower than expectations, okay? So basically, the headline consumer price index is short. CPI is short for consumer price index, or I should say consumer price index gets abbreviated to CPI. You might see the CPI number floating around there. Basically, that's a basket. That's a basket of things that consumers regularly pay for that they use to sort of measure inflation, right? There's CPI, there's CPI core. So for July, it rose 8.5% year over year. It was flat compared to June. So economists surveyed by Dow Jones are expecting an increase of 8.7% and 0.2% respectively. Now, you might say, okay, we have 8.5% inflation. Why would that be good for crypto? Why would that be good for anybody? That's still pretty high. Well, I think the thing that you have to understand here is that 8.5% is less than what people were expecting. So I think what people are approaching this optimistically because we're seeing things come in below where our expectations are, which are good, okay? And also this supporting the potential narrative that peak inflation is potentially behind us, okay? So why is that good? Well, of course, nobody wants inflation, the rate of inflation to continue at high levels, but how is that good for the crypto space? How is it good for other assets? Well, crypto's been in this downtrend for, a very long time. Okay, this is basically since the beginning of the year, end of last year, about kind of the first part of November, right? Of 2021, and you look around, and so has the stock market. You know what I mean? So have many other asset prices. Okay, So, that's not a coincidence. Both of those things are highly affected by the policies at central banks, at the Central Bank of the United States. Okay. So, because we have had this issue of inflation and other things as well, we've seen tightening of monetary conditions, which basically amounts to several things like raising the federal funds rate, all right, doing quantitative tightening, all right, basically all the things that present headwinds, all right, headwinds to riskier assets like tech, growth in the stock market, and also crypto, which is highly correlated to those types of things because, crypto tends to be a sponge for excess liquidity and gets wringed out pretty quickly when a lot of that stuff starts to dry up, okay? Not just that, but also, crypto is kind of on the farther end of the risk curve. And, when we're in a high growth environment where money's cheap, people borrow money, take on debt to expand, right? That's just sort of a higher risk environment where people tolerate risk more, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And, when the opposite is true, people tolerate risk less. And that's another reason why people kind of tend to flee to safety and get out of things like crypto. So anyways, the whole point here is that, the fact that we're seeing inflation come in below expectations and we're starting to see, the numbers actually start to decrease, okay, is a potential sign that peak inflation can be behind us. And why is that a good thing? Well, again, nobody wants inflation to stick around, so that's number one reason. The second reason is if the Fed has been raising interest rates, tightening monetary conditions, okay, to try to, try to curb inflation, try to tame it, and it looks like we're seeing more data come in that supports the possibility of inflation peaking and peak inflation be in the rearview mirror, then, that looks like, more evidence that they're accomplishing what they set out to do, okay? Which puts us one more step closer towards essentially loosening things up and creating an environment that's more friendly to things like crypto and, growth in the stock market, all that type of stuff, okay? So, another reason that we're seeing the crypto kind of jump, I would say, today is because typically, markets don't like uncertainty, all right? And I think that's one of the reasons we've seen, let me just pull my simple chart here. Markets don't like uncertainty, all right? I think that's one of the reasons we've seen some volatility preceding today's announcement. But when we got it, it was like, boom, huge jump, all right? Huge jump. So when we see things, come in better than people's expectations, it usually tends to resolve to sharp spikes, which is exactly what we saw here in crypto. And when things, tend to resolve worse than people's expectations, we see the spikes more sharply to the downside. And you can pretty much go look at every single CPI reading this year that either met expectations, exceeded expectations, or was worse than expectations, and kind of plot that on the price chart and see that that's is basically exactly what happened. So I see a couple of interesting comments in the chat here. Yeah, definitely. So anyways, one thing I want to address some of those, answer some of those questions, but also comment on some of the things that some developments happened in the space since yesterday. So one thing I'm definitely watching for is the ETH to BTC ratio. Okay. So this is the ratio of the Ethereum price to the Bitcoin price. Okay. So we definitely have seen Ethereum set a new local high. Okay, so Ethereum is now broken out. Ethereum has started to set a new, starting to reach price levels we have not seen since really about 2 months ago. Okay, so last time we were at this price level, last time we were above $1,800 was the beginning of June. All right. Oh, my camera keeps doing this. Since the beginning of June. Okay, so this is a significant kind of point of resistance right here that looks like it's wanting to break through. Okay, now of course we have the Ethereum merge coming up, which is a huge event. We're going to talk about the ETH merge and some updates on that here in a second. But one thing I'm watching is, ETH starting to make new highs on local sense, like local highs, not all-time highs, but new local highs, faster than Bitcoin is. Okay. And one thing that points to is the ETH to BTC ratio. So this is the ratio of the Ethereum price to the Bitcoin price. Basically, when this number goes up, it means that ETH is outperforming Bitcoin, or the ratio of the ETH price is greater than basically the price of, if you take the price of Ethereum and divide it by the price of Bitcoin, that's what this ratio provides. And when when this trend goes up, it basically means that ETH is better performing. It either means that Bitcoin is dropping in price while ETH is staying stable or rising, or that they're both rising and ETH is rising faster. There's different combinations, right? But basically, this kind of gives you an indication of which one's better to hold at any given point in time. Now, the important thing to hear is, ETH to BTC ratio is breaking out above these levels that it has not previously seen since like April. Okay, so if I show you back here, we're starting to reach new highs that we haven't seen since June. Well, we're rewinding even 2 more months. Sorry, let me pull this up. 2 more months to these ETH to BTC levels we haven't seen since April. Okay, and if we break confidently above this, the next point of resistance is like back here, which is like December 2021 levels, which is back when ETH was at its all-time high. Okay, so it's definitely within the realm of possibility that we start to visit these levels in terms of the ETH to BTC ratio because of the Ethereum merge and all the crazy stuff that's going on. Sorry, but I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. I got to fix that. It's like it stopped and been working without any problems for a couple of days, and then now it's like doing this thing again. I'm just freaking out. So anyways, this is sort of the next level. This is sort of the next boss to defeat, past sort of this level of resistance here. So yeah, it's very possible that we start to revisit this territory, with the Ethereum merge. Of course, there's no guarantees. It's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy any cryptocurrency based on the information. Nobody knows for sure. But yeah, definitely something to chew on and think about. So also with the Bitcoin price, in terms of what's going on CPI, again, I don't try to do a lot with technical analysis. I know showing you stuff with the ETH to BTC ratio, all that type of stuff, but I do like to look at levels that other people are going to watch. Okay, and Bitcoin is above. We're starting to see reversal, like in some of these trends in terms of the longer-term moving averages, and we're also seeing Bitcoin break above its 200-week moving average, and it looks like we're in good shape to actually hold this as support once again and actually print a green weekly candle with the CPI data. All right, now we don't know. We still get a long time before the week ends, but it's looking pretty strong right now. Okay, so basically, why is that important? Because this 200-week moving average is a level people watch to try to determine bottoms for crypto markets. Right, every single time we've seen some big correction and a reversal, we've either kissed this 200-week moving average or broken below it, and then usually when we get back above it and hold it as support, it's sort of game on for something new. Now, of course, you can see it here. This didn't ultimately end up making new all-time highs, right? Because we saw this again in March 2020 when the world kind of shut down, right? We could just definitely have another event. We have this funny way of, it seems like every year or so, we're living through unprecedented times. So we may again see unprecedented times before we see a new all-time high that brings us back to these longer-term moving averages, right? But anyways, the whole point is that's, at least for many, many months, it looks like those typically indicate some sort of trend reversal, which you could still argue that this was a trend reversal, even though we didn't, really ultimately make new all-time highs. So anyways, that's a key level. Hopefully we get back above this, hold it as support. Looks like we are. Let's just I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but let's keep an eye on this. And also why it's important, because the more we see stuff like this, the more we see some of the technicals line up. All right, we got stuff to look forward to with the Ethereum merge. A lot of the peak economic fear could be behind us in the rear view mirror in terms of inflation, in terms of international conflicts. Okay, in terms of oil prices, look like they're coming down as well. a lot of the major crypto issues, specific issues like funds blowing up, insolvency issues, a lot of the stuff that would really present unfavorable conditions for crypto, a lot of that stuff looks like it might be in the past. All right. So why is that important? Well, those are all like bottom signals. Okay. Like the fact that we could have all that stuff behind us is more, more votes in the column of the bottom is in for crypto than not. Okay. So now hear me 100%. Like I'm not trying to definitively call a bottom in the crypto markets. But if I'm like tallying things up, we have more tallies we have more votes for the bulls and the bears in terms of bottoms. Okay. So again, the future is very hard to predict with absolute certainty. We could have something that upsets us and brings us back to the lows for sure. But yeah, it's looking better than it was 2 months ago, put it that way. Or 2 months ago. So, speaking of good things on the future for crypto, especially Ethereum, we've got the ETH merge coming up. We've got some important events surrounding that today. All right, so it's 40 days till September 19th. All right, that's the Ethereum merge. This is where proof of stake is turned on. ETH becomes deflationary. We might see some ETH forks, so you might get free coins. We don't know if they're going to be worth anything. That wouldn't come from the official Ethereum chain. Just FYI, that would be from other people who try to maintain a new blockchain that was the proof of work ETH. So we'll see if that actually happens. But one thing that's going to happen in about 12 hours, okay, is going to be the Goerli testnet merge. So Goerli is a test network, okay, for Ethereum. And we have to practice the merge on these test networks before we do it on the mainnet. And that should happen, it's about 12 hours is my last count, okay? And assuming this goes well, I believe we're going to get a final date for the Ethereum merge on whether that's officially going to be September 19th or whether that gets, pushed back or, hey, even accelerated. Could be an interesting surprise. Can you imagine what's going to happen to the traders if we find out the Ethereum merges sooner? They're just like, oh, yeah, let's just do it. Let's just do it next week. That's not going to happen. But, yeah, or if it's even slightly sooner, that'd be pretty crazy. Anyways, the September 19th date comes from, basically their own announcement. And usually when they start announcing these things, they're pretty confident in the relative timelines, okay, for the project's shipping. It's like whenever we saw Ethereum Beacon Chain go live, which this is the thing that is running right now that's getting merged back into the Ethereum main chain. A lot of people speculated on when that was going to happen, but when they actually came out and said, hey, we're going to do it on this date, it was pretty, they usually don't come out and give official dates until stuff's pretty much ready to go. So there was a question. Somebody else asked a question about. When flippening, that's a good question. Let's actually look at. So if somebody asked me about when flipping, what is that? That's basically, when could Ethereum overtake Bitcoin and become the #1 cryptocurrency by market cap on a website like CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko? Basically, when would Ethereum go up here and then Bitcoin go down here? So also, whenever you look at a website like this is ranked by market cap by default, which basically means how much is all the cryptocurrency collectively worth. Okay, it's not about like these unit prices. Okay, I know people look at this and go, "Oh, that's an expensive coin. That's why it's number one." That's not why. That's the unit price. That's not the market cap. You could have a $25,000 coin and only be 10 of them, and it would be a fraction of the market cap of like Bitcoin itself. And you see this all the time where people like make cryptocurrencies look cheap. Okay, it's like, ooh, if I buy this and it goes to this, like I'm gonna be a billionaire. It's like that's not how it works because you have to compare market caps, not the unit price. So anyways, so much is win flippening. Let's actually take a look at the ratio right here. So we looked at the ETH BTC ratio before. Right now, ETH would flip Bitcoin if it reached $3,819. Okay. That's not that crazy to think about. You know what I mean? Like our all-time high was $4,800, $5,000 roughly speaking. Now, it's not like Bitcoin just going to stay still while ETH rips off to $3,800. That would be hard to do. But, you know, if we see a lot of people pile into ETH around the merge and ETH becomes deflationary, okay, and we see network activity pick up and lots of people, including institutions, are gobbling up ETH in order to stake it, in order to earn yields, and it really does start to get more and more momentum as a world computer, like a flippening is not that hard to imagine, right? So when flippening, I don't know the answer to that question, but it, the likelihood is high. It's just hard to say when. Just ETH creeping towards $1,900. Yeah. I mean, the next sort of psychological barrier for ETH is 2,000. And ETH breaking 2K would be significant. I know it's kind of dumb to like think of a number like that as being significant, but psychological barriers matter in crypto. Yeah, we're approaching $1,900. So, yeah, there's another mention in the chat of some ETH dominance now over 20%. It depends on which website you check and which coins they include. Because the problem with that is like, the thing about, you have to understand about, crypto is whenever you look at this like total market cap, like this number's kind of iffy, right? Like I could create like I'm not gonna do this, right? But I could right now go create a cryptocurrency, okay, and then like make it like I could create a cryptocurrency right now and make, let me just see here. Let's do some quick math. I can create a cryptocurrency right now and make it like 100,000 total supply and make it $10,000 a coin. And if I did my quick math correctly, that would be a $1 billion market cap. Okay. And then I could just like put it on Uniswap and buy one coin. And then I would technically be a billionaire, like in terms of market cap. And if you got indexed on CoinGecko, it automatically increased the market cap by $1 billion. Now I know that if those tokens got distributed to other people, then they could quickly just like dump them and send the price to zero basically. But technically, if I just bought one myself, right, like I could, and then I only control the coins, then I technically have, a $1 billion market cap cryptocurrency all to myself, right? Like it's kind of stupid, but this number is kind of easily manipulated. And then throw leverage into the equation, and it's even more easily manipulated. So another thing that happened yesterday that we should talk about. I put this on my Twitter, but yesterday we had a front end compromise with Curve Finance. Okay, so this is another DeFi hack, but not in the sense of a lot of the DeFi hacks that we've seen lately. Okay, so Curve is a pretty a big player in the space. Okay, stablecoin exchange, and we've seen a lot of different hacks this year in DeFi. And this is a pretty small one on the grand scheme of things. Only $570,000 were stolen. I say only. I mean that sucks for sure. But it's not like $1 billion, right? Like we've seen some pretty crazy stuff happen this year. So some of the past hacks we've seen over the years have been a lot of bridges where people are moving between blockchains and the bridges get exploited. We've seen flash loan exploits. Okay, we have seen. We saw Solana wallets get cracked, I think just last week. All right. With a closed source wallet software that was storing mnemonic seed phrases, I believe, in plain text. Okay, so this one's unique and different. So the website, basically the interface to Curve Finance, was compromised. So hackers plundered approximately $570,000 from the decentralized finance protocol, Curve Finance. Okay. Basically, they found the problem and fixed it very quickly. Essentially, what happened, the suspected attacker changed the domain name system DNS entry for the protocol, forwarding users to a fake clone and approving a malicious contract. Okay, so this was a DNS attack. So someone was able to get a hold of their DNS records and actually change it and point it to their own special website, which is pretty crazy. That's a pretty sophisticated attack, honestly, because a lot of people are not going to catch that. So what does this mean? So what is DNS? Well, DNS is basically, it stands for domain name service. And basically that's the level of the internet where you take a domain name and you point it to an IP address of a server that hosts a website. Generally speaking, it does more stuff than that, but that's what most people know the DNS for. So the whole point is, like, if you create a website, you might have seen this, like, where you buy, let's say you create a website. I'm just going to throw out something simple like a WordPress website, and you put it on, like, I don't know, like Bluehost or something, like just some website. You're gonna see like you're gonna see like your website at bluehost.com or something like that, right? And so what if you want to give it a custom domain? Well, that's what DNS is for. So you might go to a domain name registrar like Google Domains or like Namecheap or GoDaddy or something like that, right? And then you buy the domain name, and then you go in there and you like point it to your website, right? And really what that does is it just takes the domain name and it points it to an IP address of the server that hosts your website, okay? So that protocol for doing that, that's what DNS is for, okay? So it understands like how to accept web requests to a domain name and then route them to the appropriate web server. Or like it understands how to put all that together. Okay, so you might have seen that if you gone there and like had to change CNAME records and all that stuff. That's part of DNS. So what happened here was basically the attacker was able to manipulate the DNS entry for the protocol, and then actually instead of like you would be on Curve's website. I forget what the actual domain, I think it's curve.fi, isn't that it? Let's see, Curve Finance. Yeah, it's curve.fi. So basically you would have been on curve.fi. You'd see it up here in your URL browser. You'd like do a double take and look at the URL, and it's like, yeah, I'm on the official website, but they were able to point that to their own self-hosted front end that basically looked the exact same. And then what you would do is you would approve a transaction, and you would be approving a different contract than Curve's actual contract, which would essentially allow you to sign a bad approval message, and that could take money out of your wallet. Okay, so it's pretty sophisticated attack here. So, but thankfully it was caught and fixed very quickly. Now the crazy thing about this is, like, I mean, this would have even, like, you know, like if you had gotten on Google and just said like Curve Finance and clicked on the first officially indexed link from Google, not a promoted Google ads link, but like just the organic #1 ranking that actually, you know, links to Curve's website, and you clicked on this and then tried to use Curve, like you would have gone to the compromised site, which is pretty crazy. Somebody says, could you make a video on how to become a Web3 developer step-by-step guide? Yeah, definitely go to my YouTube homepage. You can see that pinned video. That's going to tell you exactly how to do that. So, all right, everybody, that's all I got for today. You know, as always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That helps these videos out so the more people learn about blockchain. And if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage like I was just talking about. You can find that free video pinned there at the top, how to become a blockchain developer in 2022. You can see on my YouTube courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you went to the next step, or hey, maybe you'll take a master shortcut entirely, I should have mastered blockchain step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.